Hey, it's Jabbo. Welcome to another BrickTsar podcast thingy, aka BrickTsar Files. So today, I thought one of the things I was going to do is look at one of the old Lego websites, or look at the profile I have on one of the old Lego websites. I haven't looked at it in a really long time, but it used to be one of the main sites that we would go to get information about Lego, and that is LUGNET. So we're going to be talking about LUGNET in this podcast today. And I don't have the TheyMightBeBricks with me in this video, so I know that that's going to disappoint a lot of you out there. So hopefully he'll be back later in another video, but he is actually helping his grandmother today, doing some yard work and such over there at her house. So definitely don't want to take away from him doing that. So as I've said many times in the videos, I've been collecting Lego a long time, and the vast majority of that time I was not aware of the AFOL, the adult fan of Lego community in general, because basically before the internet there were very little means of communicating with other adult fans and even other fans in general of any age, to be honest. And I think the most connection I had for most of those years was like Lego magazines, such as what was it? Is it Bricks and Pieces, or my brain just fried on me all of a sudden. And the Mania magazines and things like that, and you could see people could send in their creations, and every once in a while you'd see an adult in there. Most of the time it was just kids. But every once in a while they featured an adult, and then I'm pretty sure that some of the creations were done by the parents. You got this 9-year-old that's got this massive uniform colored spaceship or something that, yeah. I think his dad helped him with that. But so I didn't have the access to the internet until 1997. I had gone several years without a computer. I actually was one of the few people with a computer through the 80s. I had a computer all through the 80s. And I actually had a modem. But the modem was pretty much limited to communicating with a friend that also had a computer. And basically it was like you could chat. There wasn't a whole lot we could do with a 1400 baud modem. We would do that every now and then. And sometimes you could download things. Or I wouldn't say download. You would, because you had to use a cassette recorder. Your downloading was to a cassette recorder. I did manage to acquire some BASIC, which is the system that the computer used, games. Either you had to type in and write the games, or you could copy them, and the files usually weren't that big, but you're doing it with like a modem. And so that was through the 80s. And then the computer, I actually used it all through college. I ended up getting a disk drive for it, so I used that computer for like 10-12 years. And then it died. The disk drive actually died. The computer, I actually still have the computer. I don't have my first one, but I had the upgrade to that one. I still have it. I want to get it back out again, because I have some of the games that were cartridge type games. All the cassette stuff and the disc drives don't work anymore. I thought about buying something on eBay where some of these collectors have put all the games onto one cartridge, so you can just play it that way. They've made all these modifications. This is Color Computer by Radio Shack, by the way. That's what it was. But when the disk drive died in the early 90s, like 91, 92, the disk drive died, and I didn't ever bother to fix it. And so from 91 to 1997, I had no computer that we'd use. And so finally got my first Windows-based computer in 97. Got on the internet, which I think was AOL. Horrible experience with AOL. But that's when you started discovering other things. And again, this is all dial-up era, so you weren't seeing a lot of pictures and images of things. It was mainly forums and groups like that, like rec.toys.lego. And then you discover other things. And I discovered this guy who had a website, and he was in Germany, and it had all the vintage. He had pictures of all the vintage trains, not videos, pictures, because you really couldn't do video back then in dial-up eras. And it was, Cassville is his YouTube channel now, but he's the one that first got me interested in vintage trains, because I hadn't seen most of these because I never had access to them here in the United States. But what's got me talking about this anyway is I was watching Bricksmith's channel, and he does the Forever Sorting, which was featuring Kevin Hinkle. They got kind of pretty much completed the Kevin Hinkle story of him working for the Lego group. And Fazoom, Chris Giddens, has been on there. And I actually have known Chris Giddens longer than I've been on YouTube, because I used to go and not participate in the shows, but go see the shows, the train shows, and he would be there with the local lug. And this may even go back to North Georgia Lego Train Club days. I'm not really even sure. I'd have to ask Chris if he was in that. But definitely Dixie Lug, which I think they're renaming their name of their group now. But he was talking about his history, and one of the things he mentioned was LUGNET and becoming a user, and he was like saying what user number he was, and that made me I was like, what number am I? Because it was basically whatever order you signed up, that was the number you were assigned, and he was in the low hundreds. And so I went to LUGNET right after I got done watching that, and I went to see what number I was, and it was 752. And I didn't sign up to December 17th, 2000. And you have an about page that you can fill out. And I'm not sure at what point I updated this. I'm sure it was long after December 17th, 2000. My set list actually contains things that I've sold, which really breaks my heart. And there's not a whole lot of things on there, actually, on the set list. But I'm going to go over some of the things that are on this website that I put describing me and my interest. And let's see if anything's changed or anything is inaccurate today. And again, this website from 2000, again, from a dial-up era, is not a lot of visuals going on there. This is basically text. My about page is all text, so as I read it to you, it doesn't matter if I show it on the screen or not. So I'm not going to worry about that. And since this is a podcast, it's more of an audio medium than a visual one. So we're going to look at the profile for Joseph Olson. Hashtag, not hashtag. It's not a hashtag. Quotation marks is Jabbo. That's the nickname. So I'm telling you, this I really messed up in naming this channel and everything. It should have been Jabbo from the beginning, because that's what it's always been. BrickTsar was not created until 2012. I wish I had stayed with Jabbo. I just thought that people wouldn't know that Jabbo was about Lego if it was the Lego channel and all that stuff, but I realized it doesn't really matter. If it sounds like a brick name. There's too many people with brick in their name, and I'm one of them, and I apologize for that. So we're going to look at my profile. All right, so the first thing, let's see if anything changed from then to now. This is 20 years ago, almost 20 years. It'll be, at the end of this year, it'll be 20 years since I created my LUGNET profile. But it says, the first one is favorite Lego toys and themes. Do you know? It says, trains are now my favorite. I used to love Cassville, but now I am focusing my attention to trains and a few town sets. So that is true. I collected all the Cassville sets, and I even had all the pirate sets. And when I discovered trains, thanks to Cassville, I started selling my Cassville and pirates so that I could buy trains. Sadly, after I wrote this, I thought that, well, we had a house that we needed to do a lot of work on, and I spent a lot of money on that house. We had to replace the septic system. I finished the basement, and I needed money, and I started selling my trains. And yeah, the pictures of those trains are actually on my hard drive that crashed in 2005. So I have a 15-year-old hard drive that crashed in 2005 with family pictures and my pictures from eBay when I sold my trains, sadly. So I'll look here in a minute at my set list, and I think there's some of the trains that I sold that I still haven't got back on there. All right, the next question or topic was my fascination with Lego began. It says, when I got my first sets in the mid-1970s. I loved those town sets. They actually weren't called town sets back then. And then the early Technic, which would have been Expert Builder. He said, I used to look at the ads on the back of comics and wish I could afford those sets. I did. So it really wasn't until the 2000s that I was able to get some of those Technic sets finally. I had to wait 23 years. Yeah, over 23 years to get those Technic sets. I only had one Technic set growing up. And that actually relates to the next question. It says, I once built a trigger mechanism device using some of my Technic pieces and simple electronics. It knocked over dominoes, and I had a start and stop LED that was triggered by the last domino. I built it in 7th grade around 1981, and there is a picture of it in my 7th grade annual. And that is actually incorrect. I remember the picture. The picture that they actually used, though, was actually just me with the dominoes. So that is disappointing. They took pictures, but the picture that made it into the annual is just a little small domino thing set up. So I wish that it would have been possible to have film of that, but nobody was doing even VHS recordings in 1981, and there was just that one picture in the yearbook. And so the trigger mechanism, and that was actually a social studies project. I don't think I understood what the actual project was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be about things that cause other things to happen in the world, in like society, socially. But I just made it mechanically, physically. I was dumb. But I actually had, I take it back, I did have 2 Technic sets. There was the forklift, the yellow forklift, and then there was the motor kit. And I used the motor and I actually cut the wires on it and connected it to a circuit that I made using a circuit plan from a Radio Shack, one of those electronics books that Forrest M.M.'s, I think that was his name. I still got those books. I do believe I still got those books. And I should try to recreate it. I got to go back and remember what it was. But basically, you pushed a button. It made the motor, when you pushed the button, it made the motor turn on and moved the gears that pushed the first domino. And then you can make your domino thing as long as you wanted, but it had to come back to that same device. And there was a switch that when the last domino hit it hit the switch, and the light that was green when you started turned to red. Not very complicated, but it was 1981, and I was in 7th grade, so I was really into electronics. Starting in 5th or 6th grade, I got my first kit, and I actually went and bought a kit similar to the one I had as a kid. I don't know if it was my brother or my parents bought me the electronics kit in 5th or 6th grade. And I was really into electronics. I did so much more then than I've done more. I did more through middle school than I've probably done since. All right, so that's enough about that. The next one, someday I will build. I want to display all my trains and town sets in the basement. Hope to do this soon. Oh man, I've totally failed. I'm pretty sure that was written well over 10 years ago. Whenever the last time is I updated LUGNET. It might have been 15 years ago. All right, Lego is great because the quality is great and the possibility is endless. Well, that's a really original opinion I just threw out there. The next one is Lego fans are great because they know what a really cool toy is. That's right. You know what a cool toy is. My favorite non-Lego toys, model trains. Yes, and I would probably put slot cars with model trains is my favorite. Now, all right, my favorite hobbies and interests are trains, electronics, basketball, and bicycling. That's about right. Yeah. Although I don't bicycle as much as I used to, and I haven't played as much basketball as I would like to. Hopefully we'll get back to doing that. My favorite foods: lasagna, Life cereal, and coffee. Is coffee a food? And sadly, I cannot eat Life cereal right now because I don't really need to be eating dairy products. Well, milk. I don't need to be intaking a lot of milk. I actually was slightly lactose intolerant all these years, but that didn't stop me from going through 2 gallons of milk a week. So, and lasagna, I might like pizza better, but the one thing about lasagna is every time I go to an Italian restaurant, I look at the menu, think about what I want, and I always end up getting lasagna. I could do much better than that. My favorite movies and TV. All right, so this kind of, well, I don't know, when did Monk come on? Because I got my favorite TV show is Monk. That was early 2000s, wasn't it? And then, I don't remember. And then my favorite movie, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That still has not changed. And we are looking forward to 2020. We have Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm hoping it doesn't disappoint. Oh, and they're also supposed to be remastering and re-releasing in theaters, hopefully. If not in theaters, on Blu-ray, the original Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. My favorite artists. I don't have a lot of favorite artists. I put Joseph Turner on here. I actually had Joseph Turner poster on my wall all through high school and college and all that. But he drew these. I don't know what the style is, but it's kind of almost like blurry. But he had one of a train, and I had that poster. My favorite music. This has not changed. They Might Be Giants, REM, and Kraftwerk. And we could put Pylon, Let's Active on there as well. Those are probably my 5 favorite. Favorite pets and animals. I just put tropical fish. So that means this was made before Chrissy. We got Chrissy. She was born in 2004. Chrissy was born in 2004 because she was almost 15 before she died. And so I probably wrote this before because I would have put cat on there. And I don't have tropical fish anymore. In fact, I got an early YouTube video with Chrissy trying to get the tropical fish, but that was a long time ago. I think that was in 2009, a video from 2009. All right, words which best describe me. You'll never know what this is. I mean, till I tell you. It says quiet and strange. Now, the strange probably still applies. I don't know about quiet. I love it when I get home from work. The next one is I hate it when I get all these old, unheard of Lego sets on clearance or free, then wake up and realize it was just a dream. I can't seem to get enough sleep and vacation. Yeah, that has not changed. The next one is I always seem to have enough work. Getting closer. The end of the line is close. Retirement is much closer than it was when I wrote this. The next one, I hope I always have time to spend with my family. That is true. I got to go see my daughter. We don't get to see each other that often because of the COVID situation. We have to be very careful about things like that, but I did get to see my daughter recently, and that was really nice. And I miss getting together with the whole family. Like, I have a big family, and we haven't been able to get together in a long time because we don't want to. I'm old. My siblings are older than I am, and my mom and dad. So we don't want to get each other sick. None of us are sick, fortunately, but you never know what could happen. All right. What was the next one? Oh, I wish I could retire today. That hasn't changed. I could never work in an office. And that has always been true. That's why I didn't become an engineer. I actually went to school for engineering. I wanted to be an electrical engineer until I found out what an electrical engineer does. He doesn't drive trains, apparently. So I didn't become an electrical engineer. I hope I never work in an office. It's a dish, the dryer or washing machine making all kinds of noise now. Oh well. I wish I hadn't thrown away the boxes and instructions of most of my old Lego sets. So I mentioned earlier I had all the castle sets. We had a small house. This is when I was still living at home where I grew up. And I actually stored everything in the attic, which is a small attic. And one day I was like, you know what? They've been up here for a while. I don't really need them. So I threw them all away. Yeah, classic castle. 80s castle sets. I threw the boxes away. And the instructions. And the brochures. Probably hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. Just in boxes and instructions. Not pieces. Just boxes, instructions, and catalogs. Yeah, it was not the washing machine. It's the dryer. And I just spent an hour taking the dryer apart. There's a tensioner or something that's under the drum that's rattling. I tried to fix it. I don't know if I fixed it. Did cut myself twice. I think I want to go live in the woods. I just stuff breaks all the time. So that kind of put a dampener on everything. So where was I? So to you, it's only going to feel like a few seconds. To me, it was an hour. It's the dryer, not the washer, making that noise. So, but it did give me an opportunity to clean out all the lint that was in there. We've had that dryer probably for almost 14 years, and it gave me a chance to there's gradually over time lint gets on the inside under the thing, and I got it all cleaned out, nice and clean, but it's still rattling. Although I think it's not rattled in the last 30 seconds, so that's good. All right, so let's get back to the LUGNET. You don't want to know about my dryer. So there's a few more points here on my profile on LUGNET, and if you want to search this, you can search it yourself on LUGNET because you can search users by name, and you can search my name, Joseph Olson, aka Jabbo. Now I don't think I'm going to change this. The next one is, in my craziest moments, wear shorts. I don't know what that means. I wear shorts all the time. I think really in my craziest moments I'd be wearing long pants. Believe it or not, I'm walking on it. No, it's not. That's what I should have put. It's, believe it or not, I used to be athletic. It's even worse now. But believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could be. All right, and then, that ties in with the next one. If I was superhuman, I would be Spider-Man. I don't know what I would put for that now. And then there's the more or less section. The section that says more or less says more humility, less haughtiness. More love, less politics. More Legos, less Pokemon. Rules I try to live by. Listen. That's so not true. Just watch every video that TheyMightBeBricks is in here with me. He's talking and I'm not listening. Number 2 is observe. 3, read. I don't know what this means. I have no idea why I put this. I do not live by these rules. I don't like to read. I don't pay attention, and I don't listen when people are talking. So I have failed. If that is the rules that I live by, what would be the rules that I actually live by? Eat, sleep, Lego, something like that. All right, so that was my LUGNET page. Back in the day, they still got the Confederate Georgia flag on there. All right, I'm going to go look at my set list. And so there are a few things on here that I don't own anymore. I'm just looking. I'll just tell you. I think it's in the 9-volt train era. Oh, yeah. The... here we go. 4500s is where we get into the train tracks. And the train snow remover, I do have it now, but that's not the one that's on my list here. I sold it. I sold the flatbed, then bought it. I sold the transport wagon, then bought it. Road and rail maintenance, I think I got that now. Road and rail hauler, I sold it, then I bought it. Train wash. All right, here's the story with the train wash. This is set 4553. Fly. Go find the spider. This is going to go on for about 15 minutes. It's hard making videos. I killed it. Seems like that spot will be clean by now. So the 4553 train wash is a set that I used to own in the box, and then I sold it. And then years later I was trying to piece it back together, bricklink it back together, as some of us have said, and I was getting different elements, and then I noticed the this eBay lot that there was a long table. It had all these parts just spread out. It wasn't the best picture because it was kind of like a long table. They should have like put it on something where they could have had a more tight picture of it. So I was like, oh, those parts go to the train wash. And I was like, I want to get that. So I bought the lot. And I've told this story before, but we're going through the lot, and I'm like, where do these parts go to? And then Jacob, TheyMightBeBricks, he's like, this part I think goes to the UCS X-Wing, the first one. And it was like, yeah. Oh, and then I was like, oh, look, there's a sticker sheet. Both of the sticker sheets. So basically there was probably a complete UCS X-Wing. It was just completely disassembled in this lot. Not all the parts to the train wash by any means. I was so disappointed it didn't have all the train wash parts. But I had $400 in parts because of the UCS X-Wing, so that worked out pretty good. And so other ones that we've actually reacquired, the freight loading station, we just got that one back. I sold it. The train station. Oh, man, what else did I sell here? I didn't sell the freight rail runner. I kept it. And freight and crane railway, I kept it. But there's not a whole lot on this list. You can go, I'm not going to edit it. You can see what it is. There's not many sets on there. I don't know how the same spot. I feel like it's the same spot. All right, so that's my LUGNET story, and that's it. That's it for LUGNET. All right, so going forward, what's going to be going on with BrickTsar? I don't know. I did have a little buffer where I was getting ahead of videos, but now I'm not. My streak of consecutive days posting a video may come to an end soon. I don't know. We do have some orders that I'm still waiting on. So you've seen the hauls. If you've been watching the channel, I've gotten some of the hauls from overseas finally. I do have one eBay that was from May 4th that got shipped right after that, and it's in some warehouse, and I think it's a DHL, and DHL for some reason is not shipping over here, so I think it's just sitting in their warehouse until they have their restrictions lifted to ship to the U.S. I went and I waited too long. I'm actually beyond the point of having any recourse with PayPal. with it, which I don't think it's the seller's fault anyway, and I've lost more money. So if for some reason if it never shows up, I've lost more money on eBay before. I think the most I've lost is I had a $250 transaction. Back in the day in 2000, the year 2000, which is the same year I signed up for LUGNET, Walmart had crazy deals online, and I bought 10 copies of the Silver Champion. It was a Technic set, one which I never kept all of those. I sold all of them. I also bought 10 copies of 4561, which was the freight. It's on my list here. Hold on. 4561 is the Railway Express. I affectionately, or not affectionately, call it the Mr. Freeze Railroad, Mr. Freeze train, because it's that lot of trans blue in there. So I bought 10 copies of that, and then I started selling those on eBay for like $100. I was selling the Silver Champion for $100 and that for $100. That wasn't even the retail price. Retail price was more. I think the Silver Champion was I want to say it was $150. I don't know. I don't remember what the original retail price. I know the Railway Express was like $130 retail. So I'm selling these for like $100, and because I got them for like $50 or $75. I might have got them, yeah. I think it was less than 50%, or more, a greater than 50% sale, I should say. But anyway, I bought a bunch of them, and the Silver Champion, one of them. Do wish I kept at least one copy of that. I did not, but I sold one to somebody overseas. I cannot remember what country it was now. And eBay had this feature called, before PayPal or at the same time of PayPal, they had their own payment system. I think it was called Bill Pay or Bill Point or something like that. Somebody might remember if you've been on eBay for a long time. So that was one of the payment options, was Bill Point. And they paid with that. It's very similar to PayPal, where you could use a credit card to buy stuff. So this, you know what, I think it went to like Singapore or something like that. So the transaction goes through, I get the money, I ship the item, and then a month or two later, I get a chargeback through Bill Point. So apparently, this is what happened, is that somebody used a stolen credit card on Bill Point to make an eBay transaction. So the person whose credit card got stolen did a chargeback. Well, you have no protection. And it's really, to me, it was unfair, because it's like, I don't have any control over that with Bill Point other than not to use it. So yeah, they did a chargeback, and I lost. They took it was, with the shipping, I think it was $250. So the $250 I got paid all went back. So all that money's gone. That's a break even. I lost the set, and I lost the money I spent on shipping. And I had already left the guy positive feedback. Yeah, so that stunk. And so I never used Bill Point after that. And then I learned about PayPal, started using PayPal, and then eBay bought PayPal, and I was like, man, you guys mess everything up. I have a lot of animosity towards eBay. I don't do a lot of sales on there right now. I used to be one of their top tier sellers back in the early 2000s, but yeah, if I list something, it's a miracle anymore. And I really do have things I need to sell, but as some people affectionately call, or not so affectionately, there I go using that expression again, eBay is fee-bay. There's so many fees. I just get tired of it. I like buying on eBay, hate selling on eBay. So yeah, that Silver Champion, that was, I lost money on that. And so this auction now that I won, it was $85. And if I lose it, it's just like, oh well. I'm past the point of the recourse. But I'm hoping it's just sitting in a DHL warehouse somewhere waiting for clearance. And then I'll get that one. But we're doing good. I got getting really close on the Homemaker sets being complete. I still need to buy this base plate for set 262. I am waiting to see if somebody actually lists 262 at a lower price, because the sellers I find that have the base plate, they don't really have enough other items for me to buy. And they're also overseas. I wish there was somebody in the U.S. that had it, the base plate for set 262. I need to get that. In fact, I need to go on Bricklink now. I could do some Bricklink shopping when I should be talking to you. But so yeah, it'd be nice to get the homemaker thing completed. I want to work on other themes that I know I have complete and just organize them like I did with the SpongeBob video, where I went through all the SpongeBob sets, made a list of the parts that have wandered off from my collection that I need to put back in the place as I find them. I want to do that with like the Dino sets, the Jurassic World sets, and some other things that I want to just take apart. I'm doing that with the modulars. I'm seriously, the way I am now, I'm pretty still ticked off at about certain things. I think I am going to get Lego to try to get all my red parts from the fire brigade. That vacuum is still going. Alright, 10B is the part I need. 10B. What color was it supposed to be? And that's it. It's blue. And so this base plate is only in 2 sets. There are 23 of them for sale on Bricklink right now. And let me see if any of them are in the U.S. Germany, UK, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Germany. I do not know how we got so much carpet. Yeah, there's none in the U.S. for sale. There's this guy in Germany I thought about buying them from. I may go for this with this guy from Italy, Brick versus Brick. I'm trying to see if there's somebody I've bought from before. There's Keep Brickin' in Netherlands. The Netherlands is the one I've had some problems with, is with the shipping. I tried to do. I did. In fact, I placed a Bricklink order with somebody in the Netherlands. They sent me an invoice. I paid for it, and then 5 seconds later, they refunded me all my money and said they can't ship. I'm like, wouldn't you know that before? So I don't know if they like tried to print the label, if they do it like I do, and then the DHL wouldn't let them, but they were like, I can't ship to the United States right now. I'm like, well, close your store to the United States. I'm going to look at this Keep Bricking store in the Netherlands. This is not the one I just ordered from, is it? I can't remember. I got to go look at the, yeah. So I need that blue base plate 24 by 32 with rounded corners. So that's one of the major items I need to acquire. I don't need to acquire it, but I want to acquire it. And so that's I don't think I'm going to talk much. I'm kind of tired. Yeah. It's not the most exciting podcast you could ever imagine. I hope I'm recording. Am I recording? I hope I'm recording this part. Anyway, so thank you for watching this video, and I hopefully will have a TheyMightBeBricks with us on the next podcast, and I'll get back to answering viewer questions as well. And I want to thank everybody again for all the support recently in the videos. It's really encouraged me, and it's helping me to continue keeping things in perspective and enjoying things. Man, this is one noisy house. With that, I better go. And again, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to. This podcast is available at this time nowhere where podcasts are found except for YouTube. Maybe one day I'll put it on some audio platform, but for now it's on YouTube. See you guys in the next video.